there, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Coach Chris with Criticalbench.com. I am the head strength coach here. Today I want to go over a bunch of proprioception exercises, as you may have guessed already. What is proprioception? It's very important that you know what that is so that you have an understanding of why we're doing some of these exercises. Proprioception is just simply your sense of body in space, body awareness, and connecting your brain to movement patterns, balance. And there's a whole bunch of different ways to work on this, to try and improve upon it. And for starters, and I'm just going to start with this because you might be asking, why is he barefoot? I'm barefoot because in order for me to have a really good sense of my body's position, my body's movement in space, I need to feel grounded. I need to feel rooted to the floor. And we have a lot of nerve endings and sensory parts of our feet. And so our feet, if we mask that with a sneaker, with socks even, we take away some of our ability to connect to the ground that we're standing on. Okay, so, and everything I'm going to show you is going to be from a standing position, whether I'm standing on these firm blue mats, or if you might want to start on a hard surface like a tile or wood floor. Carpeted floor would be fine too. These have a little bit of give to them. These mats I'm on, they're MMA mats, so they're quite thick and pretty dense, but they do have some give. And a very simple exercise to begin with, proprioception exercise to start with, and this is good for kids, for adults, for elderly, senior folks that are trying to develop just a better sense of their of movement and their body in space. And in order to do that, you know, we're all pretty used to standing on 2 feet, right? We're all standing, we walk. Most of what we do is on our 2 feet. But to just stand idle with a foot raised, okay, right off the bat, everything starts to work harder, okay? We're not flamingos, right? So human beings aren't really used to standing on 1 foot. So what do? We fall. We have to put our other foot down to feel grounded. Okay, so when we pick that 1 foot up, we feel unsteady, we feel uncertain. We really start to have to focus on everything from how our foot pushes into the floor, our heel toe, front to back, side to side, everything, right? So our ankles are working quite hard. My knee, you'll notice my knee is will maybe go forward or side to side a little bit as I have to counteract and counterbalance my body, okay? And then if I start to incorporate, you know, movement of my upper body, that changes the dynamic, right? So all of a sudden, if I'm standing on 1 foot and I have my arms out like this, what if I start to just do a basic touch my shoulders and back out, so moving at the elbow, okay? Or I start to just reach up. No weight, no extra load, but I'm just changing my lever arm a little bit, right? I switch to my other foot, because everything you do on the 1 foot, you should switch to the other side, right? So I'm activating core muscles. I can start to do things like single leg squat movements, okay? Just really try, and again, I'm working a little harder because I'm on a mat that has a little bit of give to it. So you know, I'm extending my arms out and my leg back so that I feel center at all times. Now, how about we change everything a little bit? How about we add no external weight, No, I'm not changing the surface I'm standing on or anything, but I'm going to close my eyes. Now, just standing on one foot requires a heck of a lot more focus and sense. Sensing my body shifting to the right, back to the left, and working against that to try and maintain my balance. I switch the other foot. Okay. You'll notice one side will probably feel better than the other. How about if I take that same thing and I try doing a single leg squat with my eyes closed? I can't do it nearly as well. I know what to do. My brain has done it before. It knows what to do. But what have I eliminated? I've eliminated my vision. And we really rely heavily on our eyesight for balance, big time. So when we take away that whole sense of sight, we've now created a whole new dynamic, okay? Very simple exercises. Now what we can do is we can start to add in some other things to challenge ourselves more. As we improve on some of the basic things, we stand on a softer, squishier surface, like one of these great pads here, okay? And we could just stand. We can incorporate, some type of movement, reaching up, just raising and lowering the arms, out in front, anything we want to do, okay? We can go down and touch a toe and come back up. Go down, touch a toe, come back up. It doesn't look pretty. Touch the toe with both hands. And back up. Okay? Make sure that we do it on both legs, right? As I said, you want to, and you can keep this to, 3-5 reps. You don't have to do really high rep work. There's a lot of activity going on here. Touch my toe, come back up. Okay? This is terrific for forming stronger connections between your mind, your brain, and the different parts of your body, okay? And I have an analogy. I'll bore you with an analogy real quick before I get to some other great proprioception exercises. Think of a highway, a superhighway, an interstate, heavily traveled, lots of traffic, lots of back and forth, cars going north, going south. And that is a strong, vital connection. It's an artery for people, right, to get from A to B. And it stays healthy and maintained. And they maintain the bridges, and they maintain the roadway, and they fix the potholes, and they repave it when they need to, right? Because it's a main source of travel. Now, what happens when people start going other directions, okay? Don't start using that superhighway the same way, so they don't pay as much attention to it, and the roadways start to break down, the bridges start to break down and weaken and collapse, right? It's the same way with these pathways that we're trying to create, okay, between our feet and our brain. When we do some of these exercises, we're trying to strengthen these pathways, these superhighways. And when we don't do a lot of movements and we're inactive and we don't challenge ourselves and we don't try some of these exercises, we lose a lot of that. And as we age, we lose it faster and faster and faster. So that's a quick analogy as to the importance of doing stuff like this, because it's that much more important for your brain than just sitting idle and doing crossword puzzles and Sudokus and word searches and stuff. That's good, for your brain to a certain extent, but you'd be amazed. There's studies that indicate how much greater an impact movement and challenging movement has, especially if it's balance related on the brain. It's awesome. Okay, so let's go. I did some RX pad. Let's go wobble board. Okay, again, I'm just showing you some different surfaces that you can use. Wobble boards are great. I don't have a rocker board, but rocker board, very similar concept. The rocker board can only go from side to side. So it has a straight edge that runs from the top to the bottom of the board. So the board can only rock from side to side. This has 360 degrees of movement to it. So the wobble board is even a little bit more challenging. So now I'm doing a squat, trying to go as low as I can go and come up. And you're gonna touch the edge a little bit, especially if I'm on a somewhat soft surface as it is with this board. But you try and do your best to maintain your balance through the movement. I have my arms out in front of me. And what if I did this movement with my eyes shut? I lose my balance right away, right? Visually, I'm looking out at the horizon. So that's where my vision is helping me move vertically. Because I understand, it's just the way my brain works, right? That's the way all of our brains work, other than somebody who's blind. They have to create different pathways for balance. Okay? They use maybe more audible pathways. Okay, so here, back up. Okay, now what can I do on the wobble board besides a squat? Well, there's actually a lot of things, but I can pick up a dumbbell and I can stand on this, okay? And I can maintain my balance and I can do a one-arm curl. Just like this. Any way I want to curl it, okay? I can do an overhead press. Again, I'm trying to maintain my balance as I press the dumbbell overhead. It's not always pretty, but the whole idea is that you're constantly working for center. Good. Okay, so that's the idea of this. Again, you do 3-5 reps on one side, switch it to the other. As you get better, you can increase the load, you can increase the reps, you can increase the sets, you can increase the time, you can increase all kinds of things. Now I have a band. Well, I can simply just go back to one foot on the floor, right? Like this. Let's say I've gotten really comfortable doing some of these things. Now I want to close my eyes and I want to do, there we go, I had to recalibrate. I want to do a side raise. I got my eyes shut. See, my body very quickly loses its balance once I shut my eyes. This is very easy with my eyes open. I can talk to you very easily and do the reps, okay? But as soon as I close my eyes, that awareness I have of my body and space starts to diminish fast. And now I'm going to switch to a front raise, and my body just not accustomed to doing this. Have to work a lot harder to do a pretty basic exercise that I can do no problem with my eyes open, okay? So these are just the many things. I could do curls like that. I could do overhead presses. You just, if it's too much resistance, you just drop the one side like that and just do an overhead press with just the band, okay? Close the eyes and do the overhead press. Just put your toe down. You start to lose your balance, just put your toe down and continue. So many different things and tools that you can use to work on your proprioceptive exercises, and you can do them in a relatively small space in your home. You don't even need weights to do it. A lot of the body weight stuff, I mean, just reaching down, touching your toe as you saw, doing a single leg squat, some real basic stuff does so much to really strengthen those pathways, to wake up your brain a little bit and to form a stronger connection there. Then think about how much more rooted you'll feel when you are standing on 2 feet and you're doing strength-based or weight-bearing exercise, loaded exercises. Think of how much stronger that connection has become, so how much more strength you're able to generate with both feet firmly planted on the floor. Again, do some of this stuff. Try to always do it barefoot if you can. If you have socks on, not a big deal with socks, but if you're putting sneakers on, you're really going to take away from everything that you can get from this, from that rooted, grounded feeling to having your feet touching the surface that you're standing on, your bare feet. So hope you found some of this information helpful. I just touched on some of the many things that you can do just to open your eyes to, literally open your eyes to all the different options that you have when it comes to proprioception exercises. And I could spend a couple of hours going over all of the many ways to do it. So if you like this video, please let us know that. Hit the like button, leave some comments or questions for us. I got a free gift before you go. I really want you to check this out. It's a free report called 3 Best Ways to Improve Your Posture. It has crammed with lots of great information. I know that you'll love it. All you gotta do to get it is just click this box right here, enter your email, and the report is yours. I know you'll really find it helpful. Also, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking here and check out this other awesome video that we have. I know you'll love it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again next time.